So, last night's result, West Ham 3, Fulham 1. Good result. Expected, but it's West Ham, so you never expect anything. Obviously, that was such a poor start. Why do we start like it? You know, it's typical West Ham. They just, I don't know, they looked, I don't know what was going on with them to start with, and you just think, oh, here we go, that Spanish break. Have they actually seen a ball? Have they just been out singing every night? And anyway, we won. We got the 3 points, and I think at the end of the day we deserved it. No one can say we didn't. Obviously, the opening goal from Hernandez. Do you know what? Instantly they were appealing, and I was a bit nervous. I was waiting for them to say no goal, and they didn't. And then they showed it around the ground about 3 times, and I think it was the 3rd or the 4th time that they showed it, and it was blatantly off Hernandez's hand. Well, I'm surprised there wasn't more of a reaction from the Fulham fans, to be honest, because if that had been the other way around and you'd gone and seen that on the big screen, you'd think you'd have given a reaction. Anyway, we've had a goal scored against us like that. Wilson, you know, that was really blatant. People go, oh, you know, it all evens itself out over time. And it probably does, but it doesn't really take anything away from the fact that if you're a Fulham fan, you're going to be gutted by that. Having said that, they offered absolutely nothing from that point. They just fell apart. And obviously then we just dominated the game from that point. There was a little bit of a brief spell in the second half that they started to sort of get back into it, and it was 2-1, and you just... I know I'm really negative, but I always think, oh no, here we go, are we going to throw it away now? And you'd have been gutted to come away with a 2-2 draw against Fulham. But we didn't, and Antonio definitely got a deserved goal right at the end of the game. He was absolutely fantastic. I had seen some people say that he wasn't. I do not know what game they were watching. You know, I've criticised him, but you can't criticise him. He worked so hard. For me, I know Declan Rice got the official man of the match, but for me it was Antonio by far. Rice, superb. It was between the two of them, but I just think Antonio deserved his goal. He worked non-stop. The second half we dipped. We didn't, I don't know, the change with Fredericks and Zaba going off, it sort of changed the game. Antonio wasn't quite as effective in that second half, but I don't think that was his fault, and I'm so pleased for him, because he is the Antonio that we all knew when he first joined us. And there was obviously something, I'd said all along, there was something going on. He looked unfit, but there was more to it. But he's definitely back to himself. Superb yesterday, and I'm really pleased for him. Defensively, I thought Diop and Ogbonna were really good. I'm going to give credit to Ogbonna, because although the only reason that I won't full on praise him is because the first goal, he was at fault, so was Zabaleta. So, no, the whole team were just a shambles in the beginning, but Ogbonna definitely turned it around, and Diop was brilliant again. So that was pleasing to see. Hernandez I'm going to mention, because I was so wanted him to join West Ham. I was desperate for quite a few years for him to join. Then he did, and he hasn't really lived up to the expectations. Part of that is because we're playing him not really in his favoured position. He's not really a lone striker. We all know that. But I have to say, yesterday, yes, he didn't create that much, but he worked so hard, and that is all I can ever ask. So I actually think he did. I think he did really well yesterday. Having said that, I was pleased to see Arnie come on, and I've seen people slate Arnie. Now, we all know what's gone on, and whatever your feelings are about him, I don't think you can say that he didn't look up for it. I think he did. Arnie has always been that sort of player. He's always looked stroppy. He always looks fed up when things don't go his way. But he did come on, and I think, well, he got the assist for the 3rd goal, and he was really unlucky not to score. So I'll give him credit. It was a decent enough performance. I think the fact that we went 1-0 down so quickly, and to win it 3-1, even though one of those was a dubious goal, but we probably should have had a penalty as well. Professional performance that we could have easily crumbled, and we didn't. So I'm pleased, and I'm hoping that we get a brilliant result against City. I'm going to put a bet on it though. I am going to put a bet on us to win. I can't believe I nearly forgot to mention, because the reason I can't believe it, because for me it was actually the highlight of the game, Lanzini. It was so good to see him back. I knew that he'd get a fantastic reception. It seems like he's been away forever. He's just such a likeable player. But not only that, we've missed him so much. And I think even in I think it was 15 minutes he was on, you could see what we have been missing. And for a player to be out like the whole season, from last summer, and he honestly looked like he'd just possibly been, like a couple of weeks injury, but you could tell there was no fear. Because I was scared, but I just think it'd be typical, like he comes back and then anyway, it didn't. He was fantastic. It was so good to see him back, and for me that was actually the highlight of last night's game. Right, while I'm here, I'm just gonna basically plead with you all to hit that subscribe button. I've not been very good with the videos lately. I've dropped off a bit, but as I've said before, life, because it is pretty crap at times, keeps getting in the way. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be a bit more consistent, but I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit that subscribe button, hit like or a thumbs down, whatever really, I don't mind. Any interaction would just be fantastic, and I'm hoping that I'll get a bit more consistent with these videos. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and follow me on Twitter @Flump9. Come on, your hands.